They're different.
Was that our body?
They're called stubs and
It's okay to put our hands on here or no?
Here we go.
And
All right, quiet, please.
they're very expensive. You can only get them.
Action.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Tony Pomps podcast. We got a fun show tonight for you. We're here tonight. We're going to have Christy Rucci talking about some current events. Brian Scott, great country singer here in the desert. Miles Kuhn with some great stories from his William Morris agency days. Got Tony Zaccoli also talking about the Manja music and some appearances on Wise Guys Cooking. And of course, as usual, we got my gal Franny wrapping up with me. So before we get things started, actually, let's get things started. Let's talk to Christy Rucci about current events. How you doing, Christy?
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Good, good.
Yeah, I just want to say a few things and what's going on. And it's Chef George. I was at Chef George's the other night, and on Wednesdays they have the fashion show with Sharon Sills over there. But going on back to like on Sundays and Mondays, they are closed. So Tuesdays and Fridays we have Lizanne Warner, and she's pretty much a variety when it comes to the singing all kinds of. She does show tunes. She does a little of everything. So it's a fun day with a fun night with her over there. And also she is Ellie Mae on Hopalongs to Gots.
Yes, she's a good friend of ours.
You know, Hopalongs to Gots there. And then on Wednesdays, we have, like I said, Sharon Sills on there and everything with the fashion. So you can buy some stuff over there. She's great. She does a lot of the show tunes, you know, combination. She's a combination of everything.
Yeah, Thursday, she's the Vavoom lady.
Right. And then Thursday, we have Tim Burlinson, and he does the keyboard, and he does a lot of open mic. You know, so he does that. So you got a lot of people coming in, want to sing with him, and this is what they do. Thursday, also, we have, who do we have Thursday?
Well, Thursday you got Tim Burleson.
Oh, that's what it's Tim Burleson.
We need to move to Friday.
Friday is again Lizanne. She's there Friday.
What about Fun with Dick and Jane?
That's at Larkspur. We're talking
Chef George right now.
Chef George's. And then Saturday night we have Michael D'Angelo and Jimmy Street, which we're going to have a big party for Franny over there.
We're going to talk about that.
We'll talk about that and everything. So that's what's going on over there. So it's a fun time over there, Chef George. And also Michael D'Angelo is Handsome Harry from our Hopalongs to Gots. Yep. He's Handsome Harry. And then we have Vladimir, which is Lana, the owner of Chef George. Her brother is a server, right? And he is Cowboy Jimmy.
That's right.
So if you see any of our episodes, you will notice that you might be sitting in one of the chairs that Stugatz is in over there. So it's kind of a fun time to see where you are on location over there. So we got that going on also. And then we have the musical that I'm doing, and we have going to have Candy Quaid over here.
She's calling in?
Yeah, she is. We're going to have her. She's going to talk about the musical that I'm doing with Jan Atlas, who's one of the Can Girls and the Line Girl.
What happened to Bob first?
Well, this is we're talking about the musical thing and that.
All right.
Hello.
Hi, Candy. It's Christy. Here we are.
Hi, Candy. How you doing? It's Tony.
Hi, Tony. How's it going, Christy? Good to talk to you guys.
We're doing well, and we understand you got a show coming up.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about it. Yeah.
Yes, the show's Sunday. It's called Big Love Blooms. It's at the Jocelyn Center, Arthur Newman Theater in Palm Desert. It's at 3:00. It's a part of the Sunday Cabaret series, and it's my third show there in this particular series since I came to the desert.
Very cool. So how do folks get tickets to come to the show?
So you can go to my page. It's Candy with an I, Candi, Quaid, Quaid on Facebook. And there's a Venmo link there. And the tickets, all proceeds are going to nonprofit. The tickets are normally $20 for those shows in the Cabaret series. And I'm part of a group also called CVAP that's been in the desert since the 1950s, and it's a co-op of like every sorority that exists around the nation. Instead of just finding your alum group, it's all alum groups, and these women have been scholarshiping students at all 12 of the Coachella Valley high schools since the 1950s. So $5 goes to that if you buy a $25 ticket. So you can see that on my Facebook page.
So what if, let's say someone decides to come at the last minute on a Sunday, and they don't have the opportunity to go online and buy tickets. Can they buy tickets at the door?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. Yes. The Cabaret Series sells tickets at the door always, every Sunday. And those are $20. And I believe the theater does only cash at the door.
Gotcha.
So yeah, the Venmo option is just for those that want to do that or add to it a donation to the nonprofit of any amount, or the $25 that additional goes to the scholarship
So
fund.
that sounds great. Very good. So I understand that some of our Hop Along Stuats gals are involved in some manner. What exactly are these guys going to be doing?
I'm telling you what, Tony, I am so excited about that number because you don't know, or maybe you do remember meeting me, and I told you I was from Alabama over at Larkspur
Absolutely,
one night.
I remember. Yes.
But yeah, right. So I'm a big Roll Tide girl, and my dad, he was a big fan. So that's a tiny snippet of the beginning of the show that kind of introduces me and my beginnings as a vocalist. And in that, we introduced that, the spirit of that. So we're calling our line dancers the Tide Pride line dancers. And I just saw a little clip of the final product, and I'm so excited. I think
That's
everybody's
cool.
going to love this show because it's something for everyone. We have a variety of styles, some familiar artists around the desert, some new faces, some standards, some pop. It's also a recording release celebration. It'll be me recording my first full-length album, but I'm releasing a single that day that'll be released for the first time. It's
Very
a
cool.
debut.
We're doing to do our best to try to get there on Sunday.
Yeah.
Not to change the subject, but Roll Tide. Speaking of Roll Tide, it's like your coach Lou Saban retired today.
I heard about that. I heard about that. Yeah. My memories of Alabama, and you'll see that in the show, is wearing a houndstooth fedora for the famous coach Paul Bear Bryant.
Oh, of course.
Big legacy. Yeah. But I love all of that, Alabama.
That's cool. Honestly, I'm a Michigan guy. I was born in Michigan, so I was rooting for Michigan as well. So, but anyway, it's
just I love the spirit of the whole energy of a football game. That's what I'm all about.
It was a good playoff series. But anyway, great. So I think we got all the information we need for anybody that wants to attend. Good luck with the show. Honestly, I'm going to hope to try to make it out there myself with my wife, Franny, and come support you guys, okay?
Tell Franny hey for me.
We will do that.
Absolutely.
I'll see you Sunday. Okay, thanks a lot, Candy. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, so do you have anything else that you like to add? You have anything else that you like to add?
No, that's right
it?
now.
Back
That's
later.
Maybe
I'll tell you about a few other things
Why
later.
don't you
It's
go
okay.
relax a little bit and rest a little bit? And
Okay.
I think we got a noisy person in the background over there.
Who else is coming on here?
Hey, Brian, come on over, Brian.
Hey,
All right.
Tony,
We've got Brian Scott, famous country singer here in the Valley.
pronounce my name Kuhn, not Kuhn.
Kuhn. Okay, when we get there, we'll get a Kuhn.
Get it, Kuhn.
You can cue me to say Kuhn, okay? All right. Anyway, hey folks, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank
Brian.
you, my friend.
Thank you so much for
Thanks
being
for
with us,
having
man.
me.
Listen to that voice. You can tell right there. This guy can blow up a room, man. When he starts singing, you better.
Sometimes I don't even need a microphone.
I was going to say you can better leave the windows open, otherwise you're going to shatter some glass.
Right.
So anyway, you know what? Before we get maybe deep into your past and your younger years, why don't you tell us where you're currently performing?
Well, right now I've got a weekly gig at the Roost in Cathedral City. And that is on Wednesday nights, 7 to 9. And they can call in and make reservations. And we have the most incredible time there. I mean, it is just full of love and support for what I do as a country singer. And I'm just so thrilled they gave me a spot and a home to land,
That's cool. So is that an indoor or outdoor venue?
Well, it's both, actually. When it's nice weather, they'll bring me outside, and they have a lot of seats out there that everybody can get under. And if it's a little chilly, they have some heaters and things. But inside, we're currently doing it inside because it's a little bit chilly.
Well, especially right now, it's been pretty cold.
Yeah.
Pretty cold. So what else you got going on?
I've got a couple things going on. I've got a show at Palm Canyon Theater in downtown Palm Springs on January 24th. And that is a fundraiser for their theater. Local theater needs our help.
Yeah.
And I'm putting on a show called Unexpected.
Okay.
And that is Brian Scott, the country guy, doing everything but country music.
Really?
I'm doing pop. I'm doing standards. I'm doing blues. And Franny just dropped her drink.
It's a podcast. Things happen.
They're all drinking back here, y'all.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, it's a
we-
fundraiser.
We need to talk about this. This is a very cool thing.
Yeah, it's a fundraiser, and I've got a brilliant piano player that works with me named Tony Tanner,
Yeah.
He's going to be playing piano. So it's going to be the two of us. It's an intimate evening. And I'm excited to do it. We also did this same show at the Revolution Theater a month ago, and it was sold out. So I'm ecstatic.
It's kind of interesting because I just know you as a country singer.
Right?
Is it a real challenge for you to change it up, or just something that you like doing?
It is a challenge for me only because everything I sing comes out with a dang twang, right? So I've really had to learn how to pull back and find other things in me that I can pull out as far as standards go. And we've got Frank Sinatra in there. We've got all kinds of fun stuff that I think everybody will enjoy.
I think it's very cool that you challenge yourself that way.
Yeah, you just don't want to stay in one model the entire time.
Believe me, I get it.
Yeah,
right?
You do everything.
I'm trying. You know what? I noticed as I get older, I want to try new things.
There you go.
And that's why when you're talking about that, I was thinking about that. Sometimes, like, what am I doing? It's cool. It keeps us young, right?
Absolutely.
It's all good. So let's roll it back a little bit. How'd you figure it out that you got this booming voice and you wanted to be a singer?
What's funny is when I was younger, my whole family, nobody entertained. There's no entertainers. There's no singers.
Wow.
There's no. I don't know where. I think I came from the mailman. And
I'm the milkman guy,
right?
So we're good.
They have no idea. I was singing when I was a little kid, running around the house, and I'd go and grab my mother's hairbrush. I always tell the story about a song that I used to sing, but I would sing all of the time, and parents would, encourage me. They didn't really understand what I was doing, so they didn't know how to encourage me yet. They just let me do what I wanted to do.
And where was this?
This was in Orange County, California.
You're kidding. I thought you were like one of these guys from Alabama or Georgia or North Carolina or somewhere.
Born and raised Orange County, California, in Tustin.
Really?
Yeah. And
that's it. See, that's the cool thing about stuff like this. We learn about people.
Yeah, and it's in my blood. My mother was from Arkansas, so we spent a lot of time during the summer visiting her family back there. So the country music just was instilled in me back then. And,
wow.
Yeah.
So did you sing in high school or anything? Or?
I did. I started in choir
Yeah.
in grade school and in high school, and then in college I majored in theater.
Really?
So I started doing Broadway stuff.
I'll be
And
darned.
I realized Broadway, I love Broadway. I love their music, but it just wasn't me. And then there's this guy, I don't know if you know him, but his name is Garth Brooks.
Oh, I think I've heard of it.
Yeah. He inspired me and he changed my world. He changed my life. And that's when I knew I wanted to be a country singer.
And he's a good guy as well.
Yeah.
A really good guy.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to picture this. You're in high school and you want to join the choir. Did the football coach chase you around the campus? You're a pretty big fellow. Right?
I did baseball.
You
I
did
did baseball. Yeah. So I kind of made both of those things happen.
That's
I love
cool.
sports and stuff. And but I loved music more.
Very good. Very
music
good.
was definitely it.
Well, we enjoyed your run over at Pete's Hideaway.
Ah,
Man, we had so much fun over there.
we all miss it.
We miss it a lot. Man, I'm happy that Pete's, retired and taking a break.
Yeah.
And enjoying life. I see him out.
Yes.
I see
He
him
looks
out at the
great.
Roost. Well, he's guy used to work all day long, laid tile or something.
I know, right?
I'm running a bar.
Right.
I mean, the guy he's a legend in this town, and he's also a stud. That's
Yeah,
what I say,
he does, and he comes to all the shows at
Yeah,
the Roost.
I see pictures.
Yeah,
So
last night
we're
he
gonna
was
have to come out and see. You know what? I for some reason being here in the west end of the valley, I don't get to the east end as much as I used to. But being in this business. And, I need to get out a little bit more on that end like I used to back in the day. So,
Right, yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Come
So
on in, man. We'll take good care of
we're going
you.
to do that.
Hey,
So
I think we have somebody calling in here.
who's this?
It might be my parole officer.
Who's on the line? Who is this?
Hello,
Hey, it's Pete.
Pete. All right,
Pete.
Pete from Pete's Hideaway.
Pete, we're just talking about
Yes.
you.
Brian Scott's ex-boss.
Were you? Yes. Were your ears burning?
Are you kidding? And anytime I hear the name Brian Scott, I get all excited because I know that I'm talking and I'm around the greatest entertainer that ever hit the valley.
Wow.
And you know what? I got to second that motion, Pete. Now, you're absolutely right. This guy is fantastic. I told him it's a good thing that maybe at Pete's you left the windows open when he was singing. Otherwise, would have blown the windows out in that place. You know what I mean? This guy's got a booming voice and a beautiful voice at that.
Not only does this man have a great personality, but he relates to everybody that walks into a room to see him, and he gives them every ounce of heart and soul that anybody could ever give to anybody.
Wow.
You know what? That's
Thank
awesome.
you, Pete,
You know what?
man.
How
How
about
much
that?
do I owe you, buddy?
But hey, Pete, you know, we
Last
don't have
night, when we saw you last night on stage, and I'll tell you right now, you did a hell of a job. You're a piano player, your whole crew, everything you do is just absolutely perfect, Brian. And I am really, really proud of you.
And I'm so happy that you're coming out to support us, Pete. I love seeing you and your daughter, Wendy, and your whole gang, and my girlfriend, Grace. You know, what else can I say?
Hey.
Grace is here right now, and she's here right now, and she's right now drinking a glass. I'll tell you, I don't even want to get into that conversation.
Hey, listen. At this point, she can do whatever the heck she wants. All right.
Right.
Let's face the facts. God bless her, man.
How old is it? Tell the audience how old she is.
Yeah, 102 in February.
Wow.
All right.
Geez. God bless her, man.
Wow.
Hey, Pete,
Yeah,
this
I'll
is
tell
Tony. You know
right
what?
now,
I see you guys over at the Roost all the time. I got to make my way out there and spend some time with you guys.
well, you know, she's definitely an inspiration, and she loves Brian. When I tell her we're going to go see Brian Scott for the night, she goes, "Whitney!"
Now, wait a minute, Pete. You sure that's not you? You know, come on, tell us the truth over here, okay? I mean, let's face it. You love the guy. Yippee!
We had a good run, didn't we, Pete?
Oh, I'll tell you right now, we had a 7-year run. I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for you, we might have closed.
Don't say that.
I don't know. You did it. You did it. Well, you did one hell of an amazing job, and you stood right there for me and Wendy, and you gave every ounce that God gave you. You gave it to us.
Now he's gonna make me ugly cry.
Yeah, no, don't cry. It's okay. But I want to add something to this, Pete. I'm going to tell you, all the years you guys were there, every single one of us. I know I can speak for everybody, and I'm going to. Every one of us that walked into that bar was welcomed. You always had a smile on your face. We always felt at home. We felt it was a cheers of the desert. You had some great entertainment, like Brian. It will be an unforgettable experience for all of us.
We got people that call Wendy and me, and I mean they're practically crying because the place closed, you know. And so I mean, but it's like anything else, you know. We gave it 10 years, and we gave it all we had.
You got it. So here's what we'll do, Pete. I got a great idea. So we're going to come to your house one night. We'll bring Brian, and you can, you know, pretend like we're coming to the bar, and you can have us all over. I'll invite 100 people or so.
As long as my girlfriend Grace is there.
And Tony, I want to tell you, I'm really proud of you of what you're doing. And I got to tell you right now, I mean, you're a star in my eyes anyway. But I want you to know that all the things that you're doing with Hop Along and doing right now, I wish you all the best luck in the world. And I know you're going to hit. I just know it.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate that very much. All right, listen, take care, and we'll see you at the Roost real soon, okay?
Got it. Okay, Brian.
All right.
Brian.
Take
Good night,
care. Love you,
Tony,
Pete.
and, God bless.
All righty,
All
man.
right. What a guy.
Oh, jeez. You know what?
What a guy.
You know,
It was a pleasure to work with that man for 7 years.
That's a good guy.
Pete?
Pete Hutt, yeah.
Yeah. You
Pete Pinta.
Pete.
Oh,
That was
you're
Pete
kidding.
from Pete's Hideaway. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Didn't I work there?
No, you didn't work there. I'll tell you later where you worked.
Oh,
You're alive over here. You'll have your turn, okay?
She's so cute.
I'm telling you, man. You know what? Maybe you better sit here, and I'll go sit where you're supposed to be sitting quietly right now until your turn. Anyway, hey, Brian, anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I want to beg for a spot on your show, man. I want
There you
to
go.
yeah.
Hop along. Here we go.
I'll beg. Who do I got to
Good
beg?
guy or bad guy?
I
I
want
don't care.
a good guy and make a great bodyguard for Stu Gatz.
There you go. There you go. I love it, man. Congratulations.
I got this
to you.
problem, this Blackie guy.
Singing cowboy.
The singing cowboy.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Do you ride it all?
I have many times.
Oh, guess what?
Singing
I'm
cowboy.
gonna get you on a horse.
Yeah, many times.
Anyway, that's all great. So, hey, look we got a new star here on Hop Along Stu Gatz. We're going
Thanks
to
for
come up with a
having
name for you, okay?
There you
We got to
go.
get your approval, okay? Brian,
Thank you,
thanks so
buddy.
much, man.
All
Really
right.
appreciate it. All right, man. What? Oh, how cool was that, huh? That was fun. So, anyway, look at our next guest is going to be a guy that a lot of people know here in town.
Oh, whoa. Wait, who's this? Wait, who is this?
It's Gabby. Don't you know Gabby?
Come have a seat. Huh?
Hey, what's with you? I tell you, I call you. You call me. I love you. What's going on there?
Hey, Bob, how you doing, man?
How you doing, Tone? How's everything?
Hey, everything's great. I'm telling you, the show's doing well. I wish you could have been here for the premiere over at the movie theater. And I'll tell you what, it was a memorable night, man. And thanks to guys like you that make it happen. We had a great show.
Yeah, hey, I know I've seen a lot of the photos and everything. And I'll tell you, I love the podcast, pal. I really love it, man.
Well, good. Well, we're trying to do something here. You know, actually, like everything else, it's a learning curve. Look, just because we're getting older doesn't mean we can't try new things, right?
Yes, yeah, you got to try new things all the time.
That's right.
You know, age has nothing to do with it. Just ask Gabby. He's still up there digging for gold.
Just leading those donkeys there's gold up in them hills. People absolutely love it, man.
I want to tell you, man, I really, with Hopalong Stugotz, for people, my friends and people that know and watch you down here, over here in, Philly and the East Coast, they ask me, okay, what's your next episode? What are you going? I said, I don't know. I'm as surprised. I said, just watch it and you'll love it. And they do. They love it, man. They love it.
Hey, tell the story about the parade. Sonny told me a parade that you were involved in.
Oh, New Year's Day, Mummers Parade. I sent Sonny over a little clip. It wouldn't let me download the whole thing. We do it every New Year's Day, the Mummers of Philly, man. I'll have to send some pictures, or Sonny might be able to do it in one of your podcasts. You could. I don't know. What they do is I'm in a section called the String Dance. We play music, we dance, we put on a show. That's what we do. We put on a show. And this year we put our theme of our show was what happens at the museum stays in the museum. And it was taken about from the film The Night of the Museum.
All right. So when you're walking with the parade, what happened to you?
What do you mean? We walk in a parade. We walk miles, 4 miles.
Hey, Miles,
Hey,
Right here.
No, but Bob, tell them what happened when you were walking down the street. The people on the side of the sidewalk.
Oh, you mean
Yeah, that one. I'm over trying to get it out of here.
That was the funniest thing. We get around. Before we get to the hall, I got people coming up and they want to take a picture. And I thought, because I'm in my security outfit, and this girl comes up with her husband, and she said, "I told you, aren't you Gabby? Aren't you Gabby?" And I said, "Yeah." And then people calling me, "Hey, this is Gabby. How long did that go? Holy shit!"
Oh, he's hilarious. He plays Gabby on Hopalong Stugotz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was at a steakhouse the other night, and kind of a high-end steakhouse, one of the local casinos, and I took Franny there to have a nice dinner, and I hear some guy goes, "Hey, Stugotz!" I'm going.
Did you know who it was?
No, I had no clue this guy was.
How cool is that?
It happens often. The other day we were at the grocery store. Some guy would take a picture with me with his wife and kid.
Oh my God!
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Too bad I'm not an agent anymore.
People that see it,
Sign
they
you
love
up.
it. I love that people come up and say that to me. Hey, Gabby, or my friends say, "What's the next episode? What's it about?" They always want to know ahead of time. I say, "I don't know. Watch it. I'm going to watch it. You watch it. Who knows? and they love it. And when I see the first podcast on YouTube, I said, "Oh man, this is great." And I see the last one, and then the one with Trivell, and the one with Bob.
Yeah.
I love it. I love what you're doing, pal.
All right, Bob. Listen,
we're
we're gonna move on to our next guest, but hey, thank you so much for calling in. Like I said, you're a real asset to your show. I'm glad that we developed a friendship, and I can't wait for you to come back out to shoot another scene with us. Okay?
I sure hope it's going to be soon. You take care of yourself. Keep doing a fine job like you're doing. You're really growing this, pal. You really, really are.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
I love watching.
You got it. You know what, Sonny? Being at his live podcast, if you look at the screen right now, you know, standing right behind me, the guy that's always in the picture. There he is.
Oh, yeah.
Never fails.
And wait, I might point out that whenever we do an episode or a show, who's the first one to point out why did you do this and why did you do that? I understand that. But why was this guy in it? It's you. 90% of the time, it's you.
I wanted to get some water.
Yeah, I know.
Water's that way. All right.
Anyway, here
we
we
gotta
go.
move on here. Hey, folks, our next guest tonight is a great guy. He's a good friend.
Thank you.
We've known him here for a few years now in the desert. Miles,
Nice to see you again.
how do you want me to pronounce your last name?
Kuhn.
Kuhn. I don't know why I always say Kuhn.
I know most
Kuhn.
people do.
Kuhn. Kuhn. Yeah, I'll try to say Pomponio. Pomponio. Pom. Anyway, Miles Kuhn. So how you doing, Miles?
I'm
Everything
doing
good?
great.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
doing
looking
great.
good.
Guess what?
What?
I was on a Zoom with the Bachelorette for next season.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So what
Okay.
happened? What exactly is going on?
So first I put in an application.
Yeah.
Actually, friends put it in for me.
Hmm.
Then I get a phone call less than 24 hours later, and they say, we want you to do a Zoom with the casting director.
How about that?
So today, for an hour, I had this guy on the floor laughing and telling stories like you wanted me to say. He said I was his top pick. They're going to shoot it in Malibu and Costa Rica.
Yeah, we're familiar with the program, man. So for those of you that may not know, but you probably do. So they have the regular Bachelor and the Bachelorette. So they just had the Golden Bachelor. In fact, the guy got
Right.
married over here in La Quinta.
Right.
Right. So
Right,
now
right.
they're going to do since it was a big hit. I mean, you got all the people watching that are of age, sitting at home watching this stuff. And now they
I'm of
want to do
age.
the female version, the Golden Bachelorette. Right. And
Right.
they're interviewing, and you were interviewed.
Right.
And looks like you got a pretty good shot to be on the show.
Well, they had like 43 applicants, 43,000, I'm sorry, 43,000 applicants,
Wow.
both men and women, to do this Bachelorette. And I came down to the Zoom interview with the casting director. So he told me I'll know in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's awesome. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed, folks. We'll make a major announcement on the show if Miles gets chosen, but it sounds like he's got a pretty darn good chance. So let's roll it back a little bit, Miles.
All right.
Let's talk about the William Morris Agency.
All right. Well, let me tell you, just before then,
Okay.
I actually had my cousin Tom was the head of nighttime programs at NBC, and he got me a job as a page at NBC.
This is in
And
LA.
This is in Burbank.
Burbank, right.
And I wore the blue blazer, and I handed Johnny Carson the envelope in the audience, and they had Laugh-In On, Flip Wilson, Andy Williams, Dean Martin. Great shows, great variety, days of the variety show.
Yeah.
And I met the producers on the Dean Martin show, and they hired me. I was 21 years old, and they hired me to do be the road manager for the Gold Diggers from the Dean Martin
Yeah.
show.
So let me ask a question.
Sure,
It might be a different time. You know a guy named Mike Colonna?
sure.
Mike Colonna.
Yeah.
I've done a show with him called Wise Guys.
I don't know him personally. I know the name.
He was on, I think he worked on the Dean Martin show.
Right.
It was an NBC page, actually.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm sorry.
No. There's a lady. I mean, everybody knows Dale Grabeau, the lawyer.
Yeah.
His wife, Patty, was a gold digger.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Wow.
But after that, I got an interview at William Morris, and they hired me for the mailroom. And we drove around in a little car, and it was a VW Bug. And we went to studios, and we delivered scripts and contracts and things. And I got to meet Elvis Presley and the Colonel. And
Really?
Elvis invited me to the Hilton in Vegas before it was torn down. And I saw 2 shows. Unbelievable show he did.
How cool is that, man?
I mean, the girls would throw room keys and panties and you name it up on the stage.
Yeah, you didn't throw your panties, did you?
How did you know?
Well, I hope you had changed them that morning.
So anyway, after the mailroom,
Right.
I got to be the assistant to probably the most famous agent in the world. He's passed away. His name was Lenny Hershan. And he represented Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon and Clint Eastwood,
Got all the big boys.
Robert Evans, and
Oh,
he had a system where I had to keep. He didn't want to call anybody back, so we would. My job was to keep people on hold. First call I get is Jack Lemmon in Italy doing a movie. And I say, hi, Jack, I'm Miles. And so anyway, I kept him on the phone, and I got to be Walter Matthau's best friend.
Really?
Yeah, he was a big gambler. He used to have a card game every Friday night at his house in Pacific Palisades, big yellow mansion. And I ended up being kind of the go-between the bookie and him. And I used to pick up envelopes, and I never looked to see what was inside. But he always used to ask me who did I like in the football games. So I did really well for him.
Well, that's how he ended up his best friend.
And back in the 70s, he gave me like $500 for Christmas, which was a lot of money back. That's more than I made in a week, so.
Wow. How cool
that was great. But anyway, I became an agent, and I had to hire a secretary, and they didn't really tell you what to do, but you had a big old client list, and I was very, very lucky. My first client was John Travolta.
No kidding.
And,
wow. How about that?
He was Barbarino on Welcome Back.
Welcome Back, Kotter in those days. Yeah.
Right. And if you remember, he talked with a big, heavy New York accent.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he had real long hair.
So that was natural. It wasn't an act. That's how he actually.
No, that's how he learned how to speak without an accent.
I got you.
So the very first movie he ever did, I put him in a movie called Carrie with Sissy Spacek and Piper Laurie.
I remember that movie.
And I was on the set the day they shot the scene in the auditorium where they had a bucket up on the rafter, and he was below the stage with a rope, and he was drinking beer. And believe it or not, he actually got drunk. And because they do retakes and everything. So anyway, it was pretty cool watching the bucket of blood come down all over.
Oh, yeah.
And after that, I met Sylvester Stallone.
Wow.
Sly. And this was before Rocky. I put him in a movie called Farewell, My Lovely with Robert Mitchum. And then he did a movie called Capone with Ben Gazzara. And of course, he played gangsters.
Yeah, of course.
And I was at the very first screening of Rocky at MGM Studios. And he was sitting right behind me with his first wife, Sasha. And I used to go to the gym with him because before Rocky, he was not a big, bulky guy.
Yeah, I could imagine. Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. But I've met a lot of people, in the business.
So how many years did you do that?
I did it for over 15 years.
Yeah.
And I went from William Morris to my own agency, and my partner was a lady named Debbie Dozier. Her dad was Bill Dozier, who did the Batman TV show, and her mom was Joan Fontaine, and her aunt was Olivia de Havilland. And Scott Glenn was our biggest client then. But back at the William Morris agency, I represented Sean Cassidy for the Hardy Boys.
Wow.
I put a guy named Richard Jordan in the very first movie for television at Universal. Back then in the mid 70s, they didn't have movies for television. Yeah. And Universal developed them.
I'll be darned.
And
it's all interesting stuff. So where'd you live during this time?
Well, I actually lived in West Hollywood, and then I moved to Malibu. And I lived on one of those apartments with the stilts and the water would come underneath. And the problem was I lived right at Coast Highway and Big Rock Road, and there was a big landslide and closed the Coast Highway for a while.
What year was that? Because I remember
it was in the late 70s.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Early 80s. I don't rember exactly.
I remember that. I remember that happening back then.
And so I moved into Beverly Hills, and I lived on Oakhurst in Wilshire. And back then they didn't even have condominiums. And I got a notice that they were switching the apartments to condominiums. and I was seeing this. I met this girl at Dan Tana's, a very famous Italian restaurant.
Tana's, I remember the place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Santa Monica.
Yep.
And I was sitting there with a girl, and two girls are sitting across from me, and they were staring at me. And I'm not very shy, so I go over and I said, "Why are you staring at me?" And they said, "Well, we think we know you from somewhere." And sure enough, we all went to the Century West Health Club. But they invited me over for dinner, and I ended up marrying one of the ladies, and we had a son and a daughter, and it was an incredible life. I could tell you 100 stories. Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith were clients. The only thing he ever did was The Boy and His Dog. And they used to come in tattered sweatshirts and pants and, "Please, Miles, give me an interview." And then we got him Miami Vice, and he took off.
Jeez.
And Melanie, we never thought would be much of it. I mean, she had this high-pitched voice that it was so funny to listen to. But she did. I forgot the name of the movie with all the ladies and the secretaries.
Oh gosh,
you know which one I'm talking about?
Not the 9 to 5.
9
to 5.
Yeah,
yeah.
So that she took off from there, and she ended up divorcing Don and marrying Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, I think they're still married, aren't they?
No, they got divorced.
They got divorced. Okay,
they got divorced.
So let me ask you this: so after this long career,
right,
what brought you to the desert?
Well, my wife was in advertising, and she got offered a great job in Chicago, and she said, "Honey, move to Chicago, and we can do anything you want." So I bought a golf store, which was a big mistake, and then I sold Mercedes, and we were married 10 years, and then got divorced, and she moved to Tucson, and they started raising Arabians and half Arabians, and my daughter did dressage, and I moved to the desert, and I got introduced to my second wife, who at a party, and it was in Studio City at this beautiful house they use for movie sets. And they hired the Ray Anthony Orchestra and Joni Summers to sing. And I met this lady named Margot, and she called me and said she's coming out to the desert. She has a house at a place called Avondale.
Yeah.
And you want to have dinner? And I said, sure. So we had dinner, and we were together for almost 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And she was the vice president of cosmetics and fragrance at Macy's.
Ah, okay.
So we lived in San Francisco for 5 years, and we used to go to Paris and New York to see the vendors. I had every tester of every cologne that was ever made.
Why do you always smell so good? You're still going through it. Look,
Tony, I got a question.
Sure.
How realistic in the show Entourage?
Right.
How realistic was it, Ari Gold being that high-powered agent and the agency?
It was very realistic. Yeah, I mean, they were all actors, but they were, Ari was typical of some of the agents. When I was at William Morris, it was a big transition time. I don't know if you guys know CAA. Okay, well, all the 5 agents from William Morris formed CAA. And I was still working for Lenny Hershand, so they didn't ask me to go with them, but I knew them all. Ron Meyer ended up being the president of Universal Studios. Mike Ovitz was a big, powerful guy in Hollywood.
And you know what? I'm telling you, man. I've known you for a couple of years now,
right? But
and
you never knew
I
the
didn't
story.
know how deep it went. So let me ask you this.
So you can ask questions now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, you know what? We'll be here till tomorrow if I ask you all the questions I want to ask you. But I do have a suggestion.
Okay.
You need to write a book.
You know what? Somebody wrote a book about the mailroom at William Morris.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times people asked me to write a book, and I've never pursued it, but and I met somebody that's a ghostwriter that would do it for me.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a good idea, Miles.
I
We
mean,
should, man. I mean, come on. There's got to be some value to this. But I'm going to tell you this, and I don't want to interrupt you. We're
no,
starting to
no,
run a
go
little short on
ahead.
time.
I'm
The thing that this is the reason why I love living in this desert, meeting folks like Brian, like yourself.
right.
I mean, there isn't a better place to live. Honestly, I love this town, and I'm so glad I'm part of it. I'm so glad we can give people like yourself an opportunity to showcase where you've been and what you've done.
Well, you know what? I go to San Diego, I go to LA, and they have these big fancy restaurants, but nothing like the desert.
No.
I mean, Chef George, Larkspur, Vicky's, The Nest. They have so many restaurants, and the food is great, and
Entertainment,
live music
Yep.
every night of the week.
Yeah, that's what we love about this.
And
town.
that's how I met you guys.
Yep, yeah, and we make our way around.
It's funny, our mutual friend John Steinberg. I'm at Chef George, and he taps me on the shoulder as I'm leaving, and he says, "Are you Miles Kuhn?" And I go, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I'm John Steinberg," and I go, "Okay." It turns out we went to Cal State Northridge together.
That's right. That's right.
We went to college together, and he
darned.
recognized me.
That's a small
I didn't.
town.
He looked completely different, but don't tell him that.
Don't tell him that. All right, hey, listen. I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We're gonna have you back. I think you got a lot more to tell us.
I
Okay.
have hundreds of stories.
All right, Miles. Thanks again, man.
Sure.
I'll tell you, you're a real asset and a good friend.
I
and
appreciate
we love
it.
hanging around you. You know
Appreciate
what?
being here.
Tony, come on in over here. We're gonna shift you guys through. Have a seat, Tony. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony's the
I'll
Chef
tell you,
Tony. Everybody knows Tony.
I'm sitting on this seat with a lot of history,
Yeah.
Listen to Byron and Miles here.
Yeah.
I mean, these people are incredible.
That's why we live here, Tony.
I
We
know
love
that.
this place.
I
man.
know that. We spend a lot of time together with these people, and we love them all because we learn from them, and we get along with them,
Yep.
and we have a good time. But I just want to say, you and I'm your big brother.
I know that.
I look out for you, and I watch everything. And as we mentioned before, our background goes back 60 years.
Yep.
Our family were friends. We were in business. You in the pasta business and pizza, and I was in the clothing. So I bought pizza from you, and you bought suits from me.
That's right. I still got the leisure suits.
Yeah, I saw that. But if you remember, you got me. 9 years ago? We were friends for a long time, and then we separated. You moved, I moved, and then 9 years ago, when we were Sons of Italy, we kind of got together. I heard the name Pomponio, and I go, "That's the name I haven't heard in 20 years." You know what I'm saying? So thank God you put us together. Our families are very close, and we got a lot of good friends. And then you took me and taught me how to come into the business of the movie making, you might say. We started out with Mark's Place.
Yep.
And then you introduced me to the Tony and Mark show. And then you and I got together and we did Manja Music with the Tonys.
That's right.
And now, of course, with Hopalong Sugats, it's more to my liking because, we're Italian.
Yes.
And we get to kibitz about our past and our future.
Yeah, our acting is fun.
Yeah, it
you played Doc McCoy really well.
McCoy,
I can't wait for the next episode to come out because
Well,
you did a great job, man. I don't want to give it away, but man, it was funnier than
Well,
that.
what makes me happy about this whole thing is my mother always wanted me to be a doctor. And I said, "Hey," I says, "Mom,
Finally.
so you guys give me the opportunity to think of a doctor." And, and when we shot the thing, I had a nice knife in my hand. I was going to operate this and that. But anyway, we're not going to give the plot away.
Yep.
But here again, we hope that we can do more things together.
Yeah, we will.
I know Sonny's always thinking, and he comes up with great ideas, and then he puts us to work.
That's how I ended up with this.
That's right. I know he's got a half a dozen things in mind, so we're going to be together a lot, and I'm going to cook a lot of food in Manja and Music with the Tonys. I did all my favorite dishes that I learned from not only. I grew up with 4 women in my life, which was my aunt, my grandmother, my mother, and my late wife. And they all taught me how to just do simple things. We don't cook big things, but, the things that we lived very moderately in Italy in the 50s and was right after World War II.
Right.
So there wasn't the luxury of having steaks and this and that. So we did everything that we grew in our yard. We all had a little piece of land that we grew a lot of the vegetables, the tomatoes, this and that. So that's what I cook with. It's very nutrient and food that is good for you.
Everything's good for you and everything natural. Tony, thanks for joining me today. You know, you're going to be back many
That's
times.
right.
You know
I'm
that,
your big brother, so.
All right. I love you, man.
Love you.
Okay. All right, Franny, come over here. You know, this is what I like to do at the end of every show. Sit down, mate. At the end of, you know, I see this on the Dr. Phil show, so I want to do the same thing. Okay? All right, Sonny. All right, here we go. This is Franny. And everybody knows Franny. I think Franny's more popular than I am because every time I put a picture of her on Facebook, she gets 200 likes. I put a picture of me. It's only 50 or 60. So anyway, so what did you think of the show tonight? Were we fortunate enough to have these fellows on the show tonight?
Yes, you were.
Yeah. So what do you think? You think it was a good show?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But next time have a couple of women.
Well, we do. We got one. We got Christy and you.
Well,
We're gonna have some women. Of course, we're gonna have
you
women.
know,
Yeah.
new ones.
New ones. Okay. Gotta find some. Gotta find some.
We old.
No.
we-
Oh no.
we're
Don't even
almost
go.
here.
Don't even go there. Christy, did you have something else you wanted to add?
Oh, yeah.
Get over here.
I
Get
wanted
in.
to say,
Get over
you
here.
know, for us women also, the fashion shows, we talked about the fashion show, but I was over there at Mitch's today.
Yeah.
And they have lunches for the ladies and took Franny out for lunch for her birthday, remember? And we went shopping over there and we had a beautiful lunch and we just kind of had a good time over there. with
Yeah, we
friends.
did.
Came over with some
And
nice,
stuff.
nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
every Thursday
Dresses
at
and stuff.
Mitch's, they have the lunches over there, like 12 to 2. And then on Wednesdays, Alex Santana is playing over there.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
Sounds
something
good.
like
That's
that.
good.
So
All right, folks. Well, listen, this has been a long show. And in closing, I want to say one last thing. Saturday, Chef George's the 13th, 6:30. We are celebrating Franny's birthday. So if you're free, come on down and join us. We're going to have some great music. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Dancing.
Michael D'Angelo and Jimmy Street. It's going to be a ride. Get there early because it's going to be packed.
yes.
Anyway, good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Beautiful.
That was a
Good show.
46 minutes, man.
You had a little of everything.
You know, I'll tell you guys were fantastic, man. You guys had a lot of, you know, sometimes I remember when we used to do the Mark and Tony show,
Yeah.
we would be sitting there and we would get somebody that we had like pulled teeth to get them, you know.
Yeah.
Hi, so I got started and that was it. You know?
We had the whole,